I'm a 27-year-old guy, pretty normal, work a regular job, grew up in a small town where everyone knows everyone's business. And for as long as I could remember, my best friend was E. We met in kindergarten, stayed tight all the way through high school and after. Everyone used to say we were like brothers. Honestly, I thought so too. When we were kids, she was the one who always had the big ideas, starting little clubs, planning prank wars, dragging me into every half-baked scheme. She had that kind of magnetic energy where you either got sucked into her orbit or got left behind. And man, I was all in. Even when we got older, I had her back. Where her boyfriend dumped her when her car broke down, when she didn't have the money for rent 1 month, I was there. Because that's what friends do, right? Or so I thought. The first cracks started showing a few years ago. Little things. She'd borrow money and forget to pay it back. She'd cancel plans at the last second, but get mad if I didn't drop everything when she needed me. She'd take credit for stuff I did, brush it off like it was no big deal. Every time I started feeling a little weird about it, she'd throw on the sad eyes and remind me, we've been friends forever. And I'd let it go. Again and again. Then there was this one time about 5 years ago when our town threw this big charity event. He volunteered to handle some of the donations. Everything seemed fine until a few months later when people started whispering. Money had gone missing, and somehow my name got dragged into it too, like I had something to do with it. I confronted her about it back then, and she laughed it off. Said people were just jealous of how close we were, that she'd take care of it. I believed her, like an idiot. Fast forward to last year. I started noticing more weird stuff. A mutual friend told me he had been trashing my name behind my back, saying I was unreliable and selfish. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe it was just drama. But then another friend said the same thing. And another. It didn't add up. I started asking questions. Nothing crazy, just little things here and there. But every time, she got weirdly defensive. She'd remind me how long we'd been friends, how much she'd done for me, how toxic everyone else was compared to her. It wasn't just defensive, it was manipulative. So, instead of confronting her directly, I started digging. Quietly, I asked around about that missing charity money, dug up some old records. Turns out, the organizer had kept everything: receipts, checks, donation logs. When I looked through them, my stomach dropped. There was a check made out in my name. Forged. My handwriting faked. I almost threw up, but I wasn't done. I reached out to people he had borrowed money from over the years. Some had texts. Some had screenshots of her promising to pay them back and ghosting. It was a pattern. A gross, undeniable pattern. I took it all to a lawyer. He looked it over and said, point blank, this is fraud. And if you want to go after her, you absolutely can. And should. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about stopping her before she wrecked more people. I didn't want to just nuke her out of nowhere, though. I wanted her to know she wasn't untouchable anymore. So I set a trap. I invited her over, real casual, like old times. She showed up all smiles, acting like nothing had ever been weird between us. Brought a bottle of wine, started gossiping about people we went to school with, like we were still 16. I let her talk, let her relax. Then, when she was halfway through her second glass, I casually brought up the charity event. Funny, I said, how people thought I was involved. She froze for a split second. Most people wouldn't have caught it, but I was watching for it. She laughed it off. Oh, you know how small towns are. People get jealous. Yeah, I said, crazy. Good thing I'm helping out with it this year. They asked me to pull some old records, just in case the IRS ever comes sniffing around. She went dead silent. I smiled and said, found some interesting stuff. Your name, my name, pretty tangled up. She started babbling about how it was probably just a mix-up, that nobody would ever prove anything, that it didn't matter now. I nodded like I agreed, like we were in on it together. Then I dropped it. Yeah, my lawyer said it's definitely worth looking into. She snapped. First, she cried. Then she tried guilt-tripping me. Then she straight up threatened me. If you drag this up, I'll tell people what you really are. I'll ruin you. I just stood up, opened the door, and said, leave, before you say something you really regret. She stormed out. I got to work. 2 weeks later, I filed a civil lawsuit. Fraud, defamation, emotional distress. The police launched a criminal investigation based on the forged documents. He lost it. She went full victim mode, posting cryptic Facebook statuses about betrayal, trying to rally people to her side. She claimed she was mentally unstable and needed compassion, not cruelty. She blamed old boyfriends. She blamed her parents. At one point, she even tried to pin the charity thing back on me again. Except this time, nobody was buying it. I had receipts, and people were tired of her act. The best part? Other people started coming forward too. People she had scammed, lied to guilt. One by one, they started telling their stories. Her lawyer tried to play it off in court, saying she was just a young woman under pressure. The judge wasn't having it. In civil court, I won, full damages plus legal fees. She had to pay restitution to everyone she stole from. In the criminal case, she took a plea deal for misdemeanor fraud, 2 years probation, restitution payments, and community service. No jail time, but she wasn't getting off easy either. She lost her job, lost most of her friends, became a walking ghost around town. The final nail in the coffin came at a town fundraiser about a month later. I was just hanging out, drinking a soda, talking to some old buddies when he showed up. Alone, looking like she was trying to pretend nothing had happened. People gave her a wide berth. She tried chatting with a few folks, got some tight smiles and awkward exits. Then she saw me. She stormed over, arms crossed, full of that fake bravado she always had. "You happy now? You destroyed my life over a stupid mistake." I set my drink down. "Mistake? You stole from a charity. You lied about me for years. That's not a mistake. That's just who you are." She snapped. "You think you're better than me? You needed me. You just can't admit it." I leaned in real close and said, low so only she could hear, "I needed you like a drowning man needs a cinder block." She gawked at me like she couldn't believe I'd actually said it. People around us had stopped pretending not to listen. Then, like clockwork, the mayor, a guy who used to be tight with her family, came over and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Miss, I think it's time you left." She stumbled away, tripped over a cable, and face-planted in the grass. A couple kids laughed. No one helped her up. She left town a few months later. I heard she tried starting fresh somewhere else, but, well, public court records exist. And small towns talk. I'm doing a lot better these days. Got a good job. Better friends. Real ones. People who don't treat loyalty like a weapon. If you get anything from this, it's this. Just because you've known someone forever doesn't mean you owe them forever. History isn't friendship, and loyalty without honesty is just self-destruction. Sometimes, cutting someone off isn't betrayal. It's survival. And hey, if you enjoyed this little tale of karma hitting like a truck, smash that subscribe button. You never know what other wild stories are coming next.